Have you ever accidentally caught someone naked? If so, what's the story? Welcome to Total Reddit. Keep your eyes on Total Reddit. I was at my girlfriend's house. It was at night. We were sleeping on the first floor, while her parents were sleeping downstairs, near the kitchen. Thing is, I got a little thirsty, so I decide to go in the kitchen for water. While I'm entering the kitchen, it turns out that her mother, who was naked, had the same idea. We entered the kitchen in the same time, in front of each other. The two entries to the kitchen face each other, so we looked at each other and got the F***ck back to our rooms. It was not funny on the moment, but speaking of it with everyone the morning after, we had quite a laugh. I was backpacking and I came across another hiker who had just been skinny dipping and was sitting on the ground naked to dry off. I stopped to chat for 10 minutes because I had stayed by myself the last couple nights and was starved for human interaction. Figured he wouldn't mind because being a free spirit was kind of the default on the trail, and he made no move to get dressed, just sat in a way that granted some coverage. We ended up hiking together for a few days and he later mentioned how he had felt pretty awkward. Oops. Also ended up giving him a multi-hour lift back when we finished, so there no hard feelings. Was cleaning at work and knocked on the women's changing room to make sure I was allowed to enter. All was fine, so I walk in on a topless colleague and it took about a second and a half to realize what's just happened. I apologize and leave. She says it's okay, but it's not, so I leave, and then when she eventually comes out she offers me a pastry. Still flustered, I declined. I really shouldn't have declined. I've been caught naked. When I get too drunk I tend to abandon the party and sneak off to sleep. It was my 30th birthday party, and I have this particularly peer pressure Y friend who was there. It was around 1 a.m, I was absolutely blitzed, and I thought that if I stayed up any longer things would end poorly for me, so I snuck off to bed. I often sleep naked, and proceeded to do so that evening. While lying in bed, still awake at this point, I hear my friend scream from downstairs, "Where did that motherfucker go?" And I know it's only a matter of time before he starts searching the house for me. In my drunk brain, I assumed that if he came upstairs, opened my bedroom door, and saw my bed empty, then that would be the end of the search of the room, so I scrambled into my closet and sat Indian style in my dirty laundry hamper, dirty laundry and all. He comes upstairs with the entire rest of the party in tow, only about 15-20 people, looks in my room, sees the bed empty, and immediately heads towards the closet. It had slats so I could track his progress. Needless to say, they found me sitting there. I was hanging some photo on the wall for my now ex-GF. I heard her sister leave the bathroom after taking a shower but didn't think much of it. Hearing her approach, I turned to look out of the bedroom door and caught her totally naked walking from the bathroom to her room. She didn't realize I had come to the house, so she screamed and called me a gorilla, then frantically ran to her bedroom to cover up. Whoops. I was once that naked sleeping dude. It was awkward as fuck. I was living in an apartment at the time, and working third shift. My lease was up in a couple months and I notified the landlord I wouldn't be renewing, so they told me they would be showing my apartment. No problem, said I. The lease specifically stated that they would give at least 24 hours of advanced notice before entering my apartment, which is required by law here anyway outside of cases of emergency, like smoke pouring out of my apartment, or a massive water leak coming from the ceiling in the apartment below me. Shit like that. So anyway, this apartment only had a single wall unit AC in the living room, so the bedrooms were fucking hot in the summer during the day. I can't sleep for shit unless it is really dark, so I basically blacked out the bedroom windows, got a couple floor fans and slept during the day completely nude, sans covers of any kind. A fucking week later I'm dead asleep in the bedroom when one of the female rental agents throws open the door, with a family of 4, including 2 grade school-aged kids, in tow, and all 5 of them get blasted with the sight of me spread eagle with my cock staring them all right in the face. This was like an hour after I'd gone to bed, so I was totally out of it and barked "What the fuck?" The property manager let out an embarrassed "oh," and they literally ran from my apartment like I was brandishing a firearm at them. I of course received no notice from the landlord's office at all, or else I would have told them up front I was going to be in there asleep since I worked all night and slept all day and damn sure wasn't going to get up at the equivalent of 2 a.m. to get dressed and leave while they walk someone through my unit. But I would have at least put a note on the bedroom door, "Do not open" or something. only the bathroom had a lock on the door. They never showed my apartment again. Gee, wonder why? In my freshers week at uni, I walked in on one of my flatmates. She had taken some substances and had disappeared into her room. So I knocks on her door asking if she's alright. No answer. So I walk into her room and hear the distinct sound of someone throwing up, so I open her door and find her, naked, in her shower, covered in her own vomit, just staring at me. I could never quite look at her the same way. Thank fuck she didn't remember it. I've got a friend who has mild brain damage from a car accident. He can function but cannot do DIY tasks. He and his family were on holiday, so I took the opportunity to do his DIY for him, as he's a proud man and doing it while he's there never felt right. So I'm up the ladder fixing a rotted window frame when his naked daughter, 19, came into the room from the shower. She's at uni and didn't go away with them. We both saw each other, screamed and both ran and hid. I'm her godfather and have known her dad since we were 8. I left him a voicemail straight away telling him what happened. When he got back he was in hysterics trying to imagine our faces while we just stood there screaming at each other. Looking back, it was humiliating and hilarious at the same time. When I was in high school, I was going to the gym, everybody knew each other, and the showers were not closed, only between sexes, guys showered with the other guys, etc. So once my sport is over, I decide to go take a shower, so I get naked, take my stuff and go to the shower room. Once entering, I don't really look around and I hear someone saying my name. It was one of my teacher from high school. It was pretty weird at first, but we talked like we had our clothes on, thinking of it was also funny. I work as a handyman. I went to a house to install smoke detectors in bedrooms. I arrive and a woman lets me in and I tell her that I will be entering all of the bedrooms and I ask her if anyone else is home. She says no. The first bedroom that I enter has a naked dude asleep on his bed. On my way out, I inquire from the woman why she told me no one else was home. She apparently forgot about the sleeping naked dude. Wife and I were hiking in the Adirondacks and came across an older guy skinny dipping in a lake. Didn't really think much of it and gave him some space, but he came out of the water and engaged us in a conversation without putting on a shred of clothing. He proceeded to put on only his hiking boots and walked off into the forest, but not before his parting shot. Oops, almost forgot my hat, wouldn't want to get a sunburn. Of course this was the main topic of conversation at our family picnic later that afternoon. My uncle teased my wife by asking her whether she peeked. She insisted not, but she later let it slip that she didn't realize pubes could go gray. The teasing continues to this day, 10 years later. I was at a school camp and went around the side of a building looking for a toilet. As I turned a corner I quickly jolted back as I realized a female classmate was changing and had only a shirt on. That was my first real-life glimpse of ass and it was glorious. Reverse of the question, but when my wife and I got married I moved into her place. Unbeknownst to me, her mother had a habit of just coming over unannounced. She even had a key and would just let herself in if my wife didn't answer, assuming she was in the shower or something. Well, we were in the living room, going at each other on a chaise. To paint the scene for you, we were laying back, my wife was on top reversed with her back to my chest, her legs wide open propped up on the arms of the chaise and my cock in her asshole whilst she was yelling "Fuck my little asshole, fuck my ass baby, fuck fuck fuck." All of a sudden my wife screams "Mom," and hops off my dick and then I hear a door slam. We know that she got a very good look because later she tried to tell my wife how unhealthy anal was. Suffice it to say that was the last time my mother-in-law ever walked in when no one came to the door. I work apartment maintenance. I got a work order that I was authorized to go into the unit without the tenant being there. I did the same protocol I always do. I knocked 3 separate times, identifying myself as maintenance each time. No answer. I let myself in, walked all the way to the back bedroom where the problem was, and then I hear her bathroom door opening from between myself and the entry door. She walked out, butt naked. She was maybe 65 or so. She screamed, I screamed, we all screamed for me to GTFO up there. She didn't complain or anything. But now she tries to talk when I see her. I'm just gonna say it. Her titties were still nice and supple for an old lady, lol. A friend of mine texted me to come hang out and told me just to walk in when I got there. So I get there about 20 minutes later, and walked in on him jacking off. He said he was bored and forgot he texted me. Exactly a week later, he showed up at my house unannounced and walked in on me jerking off. I work in a predominantly male industry, 3 women to 50 men. We have men and women locker, shower rooms, but all of our uniforms are stored in the same room that happens to be located right outside the men's locker room. I walked in said room to grab my uniforms and I happened to walk in right at the exact time that the maintenance men are getting ready to leave. The double doors swing wide open and there it was. An unidentified co-worker, naked as the day he was born. The whitest backside I have ever seen. The moon would be jealous at how bright his ass shone. I only saw it for a second, but that image is burned in my brain forever. Months later I was telling this story to a co-worker friend. He asked me if I knew who it was, where the person was standing, etc. I never saw the naked man's face to properly identify him, but he figured it out. It was him. Delivered pizza for a few years during school, university. There was this regular. Short before Xmas. This skinny dude with long hair was just opening the door with a very small red thong. Was like a roller coaster of emotions. He asked me to bring the pizza in. And his girlfriend was butt naked. Got wheat cookies as tip. And left. 10 to 10 professional delivery. Showing apartments, we gave them 24 hours notice and knocked with no response, went in guys was naked on his couch asleep. I just backed up back down THR hallways and I got out before the potential resident could see him. I was staying at my sister's place with my girlfriend during a holiday event. It was a student accommodation with shared kitchen and shared bathroom. My sister did tell her housemates that we were there but one girl got drunk and probably didn't remember. When we got home we walked to the bathroom and we passed the kitchen. She was making toast bare naked and as soon as she saw us she dropped to the floor trying to cover everything. Awkward as I am I just went straight to the bathroom and left my girlfriend there so she could de-escalate the situation. But the first reaction of the naked girl was to scream at her, asking her who she is and what she is doing inside her house. On holiday with family friends at age 7 and my brother and I joined them at their hotel room to watch Free Willy with kids our age. As I was sitting there mother walks out of the shower with a towel around her head and completely naked. The movie ended, went back to our room and pretended nothing happened because my parents would freak and probably not going to let us go over anymore but the kids had Power Rangers on tape. I wasn't going to risk Power Rangers. Thankfully my little brother didn't see, kid was a snitch. The kids saw their mother naked and acted as if nothing happened. When I was in high school I was dating a girl from a different school that I met through a friend. She lived at a nudist colony. One night she invited me over to pick her up and go out, but she wanted me to meet her parents. She assured me they'd be clothed. They were having a party and roasting a pig outside. It was winter. I'm Florida, which means temperatures in the 70s and dark by 5:30. When I got there she took me into the living room and went to get her parents from the yard. When they came back in, they were both completely naked except for shoes. And her smoking hot mom was wearing 4-inch tall pumps which put her amazing tits right in my face as she hugged me. Then I had to shake her dad's hand. My mind went ballistic trying not to look at them but also trying not to look like I was trying not to look. Then they took me out back and introduced me to everyone else at the party. All naked. Not really accidental. But definitely weird. Not quite, it was actually the other way around. I was in the bathroom in the process of getting dressed after having a shower when a friend of mine opened the door to the bathroom. So he opens the door, realized I didn't have clothes on, closes his eyes and shuts the door. Then from the other side of the door goes, "I'm so sorry, the door wasn't locked so I didn't think anyone was in here. I'll just go pee outside and again I'm so sorry." I got dressed and we never spoke of it again. I was on a double date of sorts and after dinner we went back to my friend and his wife's house. We were hanging out drinking and after a while my friend and I noticed the girls had left. He decided we should go look for them and I helpfully suggested they're probably making out on the beach. He didn't think that was funny. After a little searching on the beach we stumbled across them naked and having sex. Once again I think I was the only one who thought it was funny. Not naked, but when I was in 10th grade I was the first kid into the classroom and my teacher, Hot for an older lady, probably younger than I am now, in retrospect, was walking around straightening the desks. She tried to step over, past a chair, and her skirt got caught on it and flipped up just high enough for me to see her undies. Crazy how some memories are immediately burned into your memory for life. When I was visiting a primary school and was talking to the principal in his office, I saw a beautiful naked woman parading in her house at the opposite side of the garden behind the school, big windows, second floor, as was the principal's office. I told the principal and he laughed. She always did that, and even the 12-year-old kids in the classroom next door got used to her and had stopped caring. He had checked with the police to see if they could do something about it, but as it was her own house they couldn't. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates.